Shares of Evergrande fell sharply again today after a key deadline passed with no word on whether the company had made an interest payment on its debt. Evergrande has a 30-day grace period to make that payment before officially going into default. For more, we're joined by Avenue Capital's Marc Lasry. He was one of Evergrande's bondholders. It's good to see you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You know, I thought of you with this story just simply because I think of distress. I think of big companies like that, and somebody like you probably owned debt. And it turns out you did.
We did. Yeah. No, so first I want to apologize. I'm at a meeting with Senator Wyden, and I'm at Cowen's offices, so they put me in their studio. So I know there's the Cowen logo behind me, but this is where I could do it. But happy to talk about Evergrande however you want.
Well, I mean, you can, Senator Wyden, I mean, I don't know, maybe you have some insight on whether the Democrats are going to get anything done or this big infighting and everything else. We could talk about that later, however. I do want to know what your position is right now in Evergrande, if any, and you can give me a little bit of history there.
Sure. Look, I think when we look at Evergrande, we've been looking at this for quite some time. Our view has been that there's about $300 billion of debt. I think the dollar-denominated debt's about $19 billion. So our view has been that the government is, an undersea. They're trying to send a message, which is they're going to focus really on sort of the people who've put deposits down, the people who've been building. So it's going to be a focus on those debt holders before it even gets the dollar denominated. So that was one of the reasons why we had gotten out. And I think there's a message that's being sent right now with Evergrande. And so we've ended up shifting, and we've bought a bunch of the other developers in China because their debt has also widened out. And I think today you can make somewhere close to sort of a 15% plus on a current. And we think they'll be fine. But I think Evergrande's going to have real issues. I don't think the interest payment's going to be made. But, people are looking at it saying, well, they feel they've got assets there. I think at the end of the day, the bondholders are going to have a really hard time.
I think that's why you got out when you did. I mean, you saw the writing on the wall, right? I mean, the equity holders, the bondholders, certainly the international ones aren't going to be very happy people.
No, they're not. We should have shorted the stock. We didn't. That would have been a great short. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we got out of the bonds and we've been buying other debt. And I think when things calm down, the debt we've got in a number of the other developers will do well.
The issue of contagion, how does somebody like you view that question at a time where most have come on our air, if not all, to be quite honest, and suggested it's not China's Lehman moment, and even if it is a moment, it's not going to spread in any meaningful way around the world and impact either our debt or equity markets? What do you think?
I totally agree with that. I don't think this is an issue for the world or for the credit markets. I think this is an issue there. I think bondholders will lose money, but they've already lost quite a bit. I mean, I think the bonds are trading somewhere around 25, 30 cents. So they've already lost 75% of their value. What is going to happen is within the Chinese banks, I think the government will make sure there's no issues there. But this isn't going to affect the financial system at all.